How's it going, guys? Today I want to talk about how to start a business for free through outsourcing. Let's talk. So I often have people that reach out to me and they want to start a business in the Philippines. And when they do, I always ask one question first. Are you planning on moving to the Philippines? If their answer is yes, then I'm really happy to help them out with consulting and walking them through the steps to starting a business in the Philippines, which are on and on and on, and it takes months and a lot of overhead, and then the overhead will continue to be large in the future. People often think that just because it's a business in the Philippines that it's going to be cheap to have a business here. That is definitely not always the case. For me, I have a ton of overhead. We have 4 offices over here to be able to recruit the most talent. That's a lot of computers that cost more than they do in the US, and a lot of other expenses that are pretty high here, even more than most Western countries, like internet, on and on. Of course, salary is lower cost here, but that's just one part of a business. So the barrier of entry to starting a business in the Philippines is certainly lower than most other countries. However, it takes a lot of time and it's a headache, and it takes a lot of capital to make it all happen. So if people want to start a business in the Philippines that are going to be living here, I normally take them through those steps. However, if they're not planning on moving to the Philippines, I always ask them to at least consider going down a different route to save themselves a lot of headache and to hopefully not wind up with my haircut. So why do I do that? Well, when it comes to having a business, there's really 2 ways to make more money. The first is to make a lot more money, to make a lot more sales, to make a lot more profit. But the second way to make more money by having a business is to lower expenses, to make sure that whatever comes in, you're gonna get to keep as much of that as possible. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video, is starting a business through outsourcing. Now, the business might not be in the Philippines. The business might be in the US, or it might be in England, it might be in Australia, it could be anywhere. But you could still start that business for free or pretty close to free by outsourcing to the Philippines. What does that look like? Well, when I'm having a conversation with those people that say, no, I don't plan on moving to the Philippines, what I normally say is, have you thought about outsourcing to a company like Purple Cow or to other companies doing the same type of thing over here? And mostly they'll say, well, not necessarily. Tell me more. And so what the more of it looks like is that they would start a business where they would be focused primarily on the sales. Maybe they would need to form the business in their own country. And that's really how I started Purple Cow in 2008. Spent about $150 on business formation through LegalZoom, and I was up and running. That was my only cost to start the company in 2008. It really could be the same thing for you today. You could form a business in your own country, and then whatever work comes in, you just outsource it. And so it means that you're not putting up any extra additional costs for office space and desks and tables and computers and software and internet and payroll and on and on and on. You're just really focused on getting the sales, and once you do, you take that work and you outsource that to another company. So you might ask, well, what kind of company could run solely by outsourcing work to a country far away like the Philippines? Well, there's really so many types of businesses out there. In fact, the type of business that I started off with, Purple Cow Agency, is a digital marketing and software development company that's been going for a long time in California. And a lot of the work I used to outsource overseas. I'd work with California employees out of the office during the day, and then to keep costs somewhat manageable, I would outsource a lot of the work to countries like India, Russia, Ukraine, Philippines, Vietnam at night. And so my initial plan was just to set up an office to control costs and be able to influence work culture and things like that, and just come to the Philippines once a year or something like that. And then of course, once I came here, my plans changed because I really fell in love living here. But for those that have no intention to move over here, there's so many types of business that you would be able to start, such as a digital marketing agency, website development agency. It could be an accounting company, bookkeeping company. It could be a company that helps out with legal outsourcing. It could be a company that helps out with CAD drafting, modeling, rendering for architecture companies. There's so many options out there of businesses that are looking for services that your company could fulfill in the country in which you live, and you're just sending the work out to another company out there. There are so many types of companies out there where you can be focused on getting the clients in the country where you are, or paying a salesperson to do that if you choose, and then sending all of the work to a company like ours here in the Philippines. Now, some people will say, well, I don't know how to do the sales part. Again, that's the kind of thing that you can outsource through companies such as ours or other companies doing the same thing as we are, where they will take care of the lead generation and the marketing and the appointment setting and the closing deals as well. So there is so much opportunity to start a business these days where you have to do virtually nothing, just get things up and running, and then having others fulfill the work. I have to be honest, if I could go back in time with all of the knowledge that I have now about running a business here, with all the costs involved, with all of the stress involved, with all of the deep learning curves involved, I would probably rethink it in two ways. One, I would try to find someone that had been doing business here as a foreigner, and also talking to other Filipino business owners, and I would have spent a lot more time seeking to understand the work culture over here. I thought that I could just bring my leadership style, my management style from the West, and then that would work well here, and it didn't at all. I really had to learn a lot about how to lead and manage different, how to do business different in the Philippines. It took years to get the big ideas, the big changes that I needed to implement in my mind. And 5 years on, I'm still learning as much as I can every day, because I definitely don't pretend to have it all perfected. The second thing that I would say that I would really have to think about is, do I actually want to start a business in the Philippines, or do I want to just keep outsourcing things myself? Now that I've been doing it, now that I've paid the very heavy prices of learning how to start things over here and run things over here, I'm glad that I'm here. But if I could start all over again, I'd really have to think very hard if I would take a very different strategy myself. So, are you someone entrepreneurial looking to start a business? This is absolutely the easiest way to start a business with little or even no cost to be able to get things up and running. Those of you that have followed my channel know that I absolutely love helping people that want to get a business started, whether it's in the Philippines or elsewhere. Feel free to reach out. I have my contact info and the ability to set up something on my calendar in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch. Take care.